I'm the last of 7 kids. My mom had 3 kids, and 10 years later had 4 more. My dad was in the Marines in World War II, and when he came back, I had 4 more. My name is Ruvolo. I'm 50 years old. I love animals. I now have 2 dogs and 3 cats. And I've had more before this. At 13 years old, I watched them take my 19-year-old brother out in a body bag. He OD'd at home. Then at 17, my brother Tommy was coming to stay at my parents' house with us, and the car in front of him stopped short. So he swerved into what he thought was a snowbank, and when he plowed into the snowbank, it was actually wooden blockades piled up that actually flew into his windshield, hit him in his left lobia like I was hit. He was in a coma for 2 weeks and then he died. Then at 21, my dear, wonderful, amazing brother-in-law was always there for me, who helped me get through my 2 brothers' deaths, was shot 6 times and thrown out onto Borough Parkway, and they never found his killers. At 22, my wonderful 15-year-old nephew, who was an animal lover like me, was hit by a car while he was riding his bicycle, was in a coma for a couple of days, and then died. And then at 35, I was 8 months pregnant and I lost my baby. Face was damaged. My whole face was smashed in. Every single bone in my face was broken. When I looked in the mirror, I looked the same, just my face was so drawn. I had no idea that I had a 10-hour surgery. And from now on, for the rest of my life, I will always have 3 titanium plates in my left cheek, 1 in my right, and I also have a screening holding my left eye in place because my eye socket was so badly shattered. Once I got off the medication, I remember laying in the bedroom at my sister's house and just crying myself to sleep and asking God, why me, God? Why? What did I ever do so wrong and so terrible in my life that I deserved all this to happen to me? Why me, God? After everything I've been through, why did this have to happen to me? And I would cry myself to sleep, and my sister would be like, are you okay? And I'd say, yeah, I'm fine. And I'd be laying there crying, going, God, I don't understand. Why me? And I was laying there, and I was talking to God, why me, God? Why? What did I ever do that was so bad? And then it dawned on me, and I said, but wait a minute. God is everywhere. He must have known that I was in such great physical condition that I would be able to live through this. That's why it happened to me. Because God knew I'd be able to live through it. So I saved somebody else's life that might have, or that happened to them, they would have never been able to live through. So that's why it happened to me, because I saved somebody else's life. And that's what helped me to keep going on and going through rehab. Actually sitting with the DA a couple of times, and that was when I started asking questions because they kept telling me not to worry. They had 25 years all set. They probably wouldn't even have to go to a trial, or maybe they would, and they have the 25 years set up for him. And I started asking questions because I wanted to know. I wanted to know what type of kid would do this? What type of kid did this? Was he always a bully? Was he always doing bad things? Was he always hurting other people? What could he have that was so built up inside him that he had to do that? And I just couldn't see how locking this kid up for 25 years was going to do any good. For what? So then he could go in there and get more bitter and more angry and then come out and do something worse to somebody else? I would never want anyone, not even my worst enemy, to know the pain or the anguish that I went through. So I didn't want that. And that was when I started talking to my lawyer. That day, when we went to that courtroom, and I was standing there and I saw this young man walking in with a suit that looked so frail. He looked like the suit was 3 times too big for him. And when I saw him walk in with his head down, really, it looked like he was so upset with himself. And I looked at him, and it was my empathy. I felt empathy. When I saw him there, my heart went out to him. I just saw him as a lost soul. That's what he looked like to me. The court was over, and it was ready for him to walk out. And as he was walking out, he started veering over to where I was sitting. And every court officer was ready to jump on him. They had no idea why he was coming over to me. And he walked over to where I was, and he stood in front of me. And all he was doing was just crying profusely. And he looked at me and he said, "I never meant this to happen to you. I prayed for you every day. I'm so glad you're doing well. I never meant this to happen." And motherly instincts came out of me, and the only thing I could do was just take him and cuddle him like a child and just tell him, just do something good with your life. Take this experience and do something good with your life. And what's really sad is that I was the last person to hug him before he went to jail. How amazing is that the victim is the last person that got to hug him?